Hey guys, welcome back to the layout. So today I've got another layout update for you. This is layout update number 10 on my HO scale layout 2.0. In my last layout update, the kind of big thing I did was the fascia, which is still holding up. It's been almost 2 weeks now. I haven't changed anything. Like I said, kind of quick and fast, just with scraps I had, but it really finishes the layout off, and I'm really glad I did it. Starting over here, the first thing I did is I finally cut in that switch that I was talking about for so long. And you can see it holds 2 cars. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I know I kind of talked about waiting to see how cluttered this area will be, and that's still the case. Worst case scenario, I will just make it an overgrown spur and use it as storage for cars. But if I do have room, I'm going to put that team track or the loading ramp here. This square is 11 by 11, but the kit I bought for it is about 8.5 by 10. So I may have some spare room to put that in and it not look too cluttered. Another kind of thing I did alongside that is I extended the reversing loop. So this is actually part of the reversing loop when it switches polarity, which really doesn't affect anything in the long run. I think it would be different if it was this main industry set where I would regularly have a locomotive working as one came into the loop, but it just allows me to get a few more cars in. I just simply moved it. It was the things were here, the isolating rail joiners were here, and now they're there. So I've thought about moving the isolating rail joiners from there over here to that switch, but right now, because I've got some feeders down there, I think I'm gonna leave it as is. It's all working great, so, and I really have no need for that long of a train. But just a thought for the future. Coming down here, the biggest thing. Oh, I got another Andy Fletcher drawing, and I've got that. I did end up framing it, and I've actually centered the frames and the modules. This is not permanent because obviously at some point I'm gonna get backdrop. But for now, it's kind of nice just to have it look good. So thought I'd do that. I got the yard completely wired, so it was usable during my last update, but now everything is just rock solid. So these are all insulated. Now these 2 tracks where the locomotives are have constant power. This last track I did like I did on my last layout, and I've got the double pull double throw switch. So clicking it down is track power, just like the rest of the layout, so you can drive a train in or out. The middle is off, and then up is programming. And I've been using it and testing it quite a bit. The one thing I have to be wary of is the current keeper. The keep alives, I'm not quite sure how that would act, so when I do turn it off to go to programming track, I always make sure to leave it off long enough that the keep alives drain, and then I program. I'm not quite sure what would happen, because although they're acting on a signal, they're not directly getting a signal, but I don't want to risk anything, so I just wait until the keep alives get drained, and then I flip it over to programming, and no problem so far. But yeah, all the yard is completely wired. You'll see all the feeders, and this goes to a separate patch panel for the bus, because eventually I will be purchasing some circuit breakers so that if any shorts do happen, it doesn't affect the rest of the layout. Speaking of which, I do have a PR4 on the way, and that is going to interface with my computer or my laptop just to do things like programming and running from Y throttle and whatnot. Again, similar, I had a PR3 on my last layout, so it's going to be pretty much the same as that. This is now all glued down. So in my last layout update, I actually had this isolated. and I was going to keep it isolated, but then I thought, well, you know what? I'm not isolating any of the other off-main industries, so I decided to just keep that with track power. Now, it does have its own feeders, and it is powered by itself, but at least now there's no isolation, and it looks pretty good. I did have to rip it up to make some modifications, but I'm really happy with it now. I can't wait to get the buildings going. And last but not least, I got a few more pieces of rolling stock. So I think in my last video, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but I got this, and I want to say it's an Athearn, but I can't remember 100%. But I got the CPR boxcar, and I got the Burlington Northern Walthers train line to match my CP rail. Well, I decided, and as mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of the Walthers mainline, so I ended up getting 1, 2, 3 of the Canadian Pacific Railway scheme, all different road numbers, and then this newsprint boxcar is by Bowser. And I'm really impressed. Same price, about $30, and it's real nice. I didn't really have to do anything to it. I didn't even have to change the couplers, so really liking that. And I've always been a big fan of the newsprint boxcars. And then here we have 2 Athearn ready to roll gondolas. So I had a couple of these on my old layout. I think I had 2 of the CP Rail, 1 of the CP Rail Black. Maybe that was it, but I was able to pick these 2 up, and I love it. It just adds a lot of diversity to the layout. I've got a lot of boxcars, and I just wanted to add something different. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I do have a plan to extend the yard very slightly. In my end scale plan, I had a second track coming up this ramp. I obviously no longer have that, so in the near future, I'm going to cut this and raise it up to match that, and then extend all the tracks. So that's going to be a little bit of a project, but nothing too bad. But I can't wait, because that'll just give me a little more wiggle room for an extra car here and there, and just a little more room for switching like 50-foot versus 40-foot boxcar or cars in general into each stub. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching. I will be doing a live show the first Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. So keep an eye open for that, but I will be making an announcement when it gets closer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and until next time, enjoy your bacon.